What is happening, PGA DFS fans? Thank you for joining me on my first ever Top 5 Sleepers video for Fantasy Golf Bag. And here on the Fantasy Golf Bag YouTube channel, make sure you guys like and subscribe to our channel here. That's how you're going to get notified when these videos come live, and a couple of other things and other pieces of content that we have coming out here for you shortly. So I love the stuff that Drew and I have been working on. I've got some grand ideas. If you guys have been following me for quite some time, you know I love to think big. So that is the motto, of course, of my alma mater. Think big we do here at the University of Rhode Island. But nonetheless, let's jump into the top 5 sleepers here at the Wyndham Championship. That's what we're going to focus on now. Stuff coming in the future. Well, hope you guys get as excited about it as I am. So now let's jump into our top 5 sleepers here this week. A full field of 156 golfers. And the lowest owned golfer over 8,000 this week is going to go to Christian Bezaidnout. I am going to go in opposite order. I'm going to go from high salary to low salary here on the sleepers video. Nonetheless, let's start with Bezaidnout. $8,400 this week over on DraftKings with an ownership of around 8 or 9%. Recent form, well, he's taken a couple of week break after going to the Open Championship. Also played well at the Scottish Open, so in some decent form. Also has come here at least once, came in 37th a couple of years ago. When we look at his strokes gained, especially against the field averages, it looks pretty good, especially when you look at around the green, the only category that he's losing in. But what's interesting, at least to me, is the fact that that was one of his best categories a year ago. So maybe a little bit of noise there. I think that improves. I think this is a really solid course for him. It's relatively easy to hit the greens, which is where he can get into a little bit of trouble. So again, like Bezaidnout this week, under 8%. Let's move on to our next golfer here, Brendan Todd. He's coming in at 7,500 this week and projected ownership of around 4%. Now, what I like about Todd is he's the second best putter on the PGA Tour this season. That's how he earns his keep on the PGA Tour. And coming in, he's played pretty well. He's made a bunch of cuts in a row. He's rested and recovered. And we see that he does like this golf course when he's in form. He came in 10th here last year, miscut the year prior. But again, I think he's in better form coming into this week. Plus, he's only going to be 4% owned, so you don't have to give him that much allocation to get pretty good leverage on him. So again, strokes gained, it's all going to be in the putting in the short game. The approach and the off the tee, well, that's lacking against the field here this week, especially off the tee, where I'm pretty sure my average driving distance might be longer than Brendan Todd's. But nonetheless here, as we move down the board, we've talked about Brendan Todd, we've talked about Christian Bezaidnout, and let's now go into our third golfer here, as it's going to be Austin Smallman. Now, Austin, he is sitting on the proverbial number 125 on the FedEx Cup ranking. That's crazy to me, as it brings on a whole nother level of pressure. It's coming in at $7,000 this week on DraftKings. Projected ownership of still only around 3%. And as we can tell in the strokes gained info versus the field average, well, he does very well on the approach. He's ranked 40th on the season. It's one of the best rankings here in this field, and 27th off the tee. So if we can just catch a good putter week here at the Wyndham, Smotherman should find his way into the playoffs here this week, coming in with good form. 69th last week, 24th the week before, and 8th 3 weeks ago. I believe that was at the Barracuda Championship. Okay, let's talk about our fourth golfer here. One of my favorites, Brandon Wu, easily inside of the playoffs for his first rookie season, but he got it done a little differently. It wasn't making the cuts and consistency. No, it was the upside in top finishes. He had a great finish at the Scottish Open 3 weeks ago. Also had a great Open at the Mexico Vidanta Open down there in Mexico to John Rahm. So those are the couple of quality starts that we've seen him do it. Most of the time, they're at easier golf courses. This is what I believe Sedgefield is this week. And as we can tell, irons are a little bit of his problem. But when he gets in a roll, he hits a ton of greens. I think he'll do the same here this week. That should negate his worst category around the green, where he ranks 184th. Now, he's coming in off a 30th place finish last week, and with less than 3% ownership, I like taking a long, hard look at Brandon Wu. Okay, here's my last one. This is going to be a little bit of I'll call it a curveball, if you will. It's Henrik Norlander, and I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of a different view so we can learn about the stats from Norlander and why I like him coming in this week. 6,400 and just less than 1% ownership. But he's coming in off of a 30th place finish last week, and 3 weeks ago came in 31st. So why do I like that? Well, I took a look at his approaches, and last week the approaches started to really come around. His worst category was putting, and last week he gained over a stroke twice in 2 of the 4 rounds he played with the putter. So good signs coming in. Now, when we look at his course history here, he came in 59th a couple of years ago, hadn't played in the starts around it. So for Henrik Norlander, I think we've got a good chance for him to get to the weekend and make some noise as his putter starts to warm up. So, all right, that is going to be it for the top 5 sleepers here this week. Thanks for joining me on Fantasy Golf Bag's YouTube channel. Again, make sure you like and subscribe. And, of course, if you want to chat with me, join Fantasy Golf Bag's premium package. That's going to get you into our Discord where you can DM me. Or if you got just some basic questions, hit me up on Twitter at DFS Golfer 23. So for Jason Rouslin, that's who I am. Thanks again for joining me here on Fantasy Golf Bag's YouTube channel, and I will see you on the other side. Cheers, everybody.